Today I will be showing y'all the differences between a Game Boy Advance SP AGS001 model and an AGS101 model. Welcome back to my channel, Retro Stash Repairs. First, I'm going to start off by talking about the differences, pretty obvious differences by just looking at the shell themselves. So as y'all can see, I have 4 different colors up here, which are AGS001s. These were the original 001 colors that were released. I believe the Game Boy Advance SP was first released like in 2003, somewhere around there. And then a year later or two, like 2004, 2005, the AGS101 was released. So the main difference everybody knows about is that the AGS101 model that came out later is clearly brighter and better than the previous one. That's way better. Plus the previous one, the screen turns off. The front light turns on and off. However, on the newer model AGS101, the screen just gets brighter and dimmer. It doesn't turn off at all. And well, the most obvious difference in the model number is in the back sticker. AGS001, AGS101. And like I said earlier, the color, the AGS001s, were released in black, silver, blue, and red. And the 101 was released in graphite, pearl pink, and pearl blue. But, that's always going to be the case when you're trying to find some on eBay or something like that. Sometimes they may resell it or whatever. And a lot of Japanese consoles are mostly all 001s, because see, as you can see here, I have, as an example, I have a pearl blue, but it's not AGS101. You can see on the back it says AGS001. So this is a Japanese console, and it's a 001, not an AGS101. As well, you're gonna find a bunch of limited edition consoles out there. They're gonna have different colors, variants, designs on them, like the Pokemon limited edition ones. And as far as I know, I think they're supposed to be like a Kingdom Hearts one and Surf Blue AGS101. But other than that, I'm not too sure. The ones I do know for sure that are out there were 2 exclusive Toys R Us AGS101 consoles. One of them being a Pikachu and one of them being a SpongeBob SP. And I might, put a screenshot of those on the screen right now if you haven't seen them before. So as far as I can tell, those are the main outside differences and how to tell if it's an AGS101. Look for the sticker, look at the screen. The screen on the AGS101 compared to the 001 is going to be a lot darker, as y'all can see right there. So there's the screen, the colors, and that's pretty much it on the outside differences that you can tell just by looking at them. Oh, and I also forgot, I actually have a few more examples, or a couple more examples of different variants. As you can see, the screen is lighter, so it's an AGS001 model, but it's a different color. It was a limited edition Surf Blue, which was released in the US. I believe there's a European version which is an AGS101, but I think it's supposed to be pretty rare. And then another AGS001 lime green, which this one actually has a backlit screen, because it's one of the Game Boys I recently worked on my previous video. So it's supposed to be originally AGS001, but I have an AGS101 screen in there. And now I'm going to be talking about the differences in the screens themselves, if you're like wanting to get screens for parts or just to replace your screen. So I'll go ahead and do that. So here I have the 2 screens already taken apart from other consoles. And as you can see, one is clearly darker than the other, just like you see on the actual Game Boy. But these are taken apart, and when you turn them over, you see the biggest difference. AGS-001, AGS-101. This one has, you can see the metal casing on this one, and just it has this rubber padding on the back, silicone, whatever. And then this one has a foam to the back, and it's the cheaper AGS-001. And by the way, the AGS-101 is the one, most sought after. You see the prices online on eBay or whatever. If it's an AGS-101, it's going to cost more. I mean, it's just better overall if you like playing on the SP, especially if you're wanting to make like recent newly made mods out there, like the SP Slate, where it gets, rid of the hinges and it's just, a single Game Boy, but it's an SP screen, either AGS-101 or an IPS. And I believe on that mod you have to do an IPS screen, but either way, you can't really use an AGS 101 model motherboard with an AGS-001 screen. It won't work, and vice versa. There is a way where you can use an AGS-001 board with an AGS-101 screen. You have to buy, a certain mod chip or tiny PCB for that, but then you won't be able to use the brightness button anymore. And I've done that before. Maybe I might show it on a future video, but there you have it. And I'm mainly, showing y'all guys just in case you're not really familiar with the SP line and the different models, just so y'all know if you're trying to buy one. Because I think when I first started getting into all this, I was trying to buy an AGS-101, and a couple of times someone sold me an AGS-001 Game Boy, and claiming it was AGS-101 when it was clearly an AGS-001. Sometimes, they just reshell them and put an AGS-001 inside an AGS-101 shell. But looking at the screen is a dead giveaway, and if that's the case, if they replace the inner parts, then the sticker won't matter. But usually, you can just look at the sticker if the sticker. But if it doesn't have the sticker, then you look at the screen and you can clearly see the difference. So now I'm going to be talking the boards themselves. There's actually 3 different kinds of boards. Most likely you will always run into these two, where there's an AGS-001, which is always going to have that transformer part on the back, where for the part number it says T1. That is always going to be on an AGS-001, and on AGS-101 motherboard, it's never going to have it. So that's like the number one thing I always look for. If it has that, then it's an AGS-001. If it does not have that, then it's an AGS-101 board. And then also as well, a few differences on the front. As y'all can see, these two are clearly different. The AGS-001 has the amp chip, and it actually has similar parts to the original Game Boy Advance motherboard, where it has the transformer T1 part and the amp, for the speakers, headphones, whatever, the sound pretty much. And the AGS-101 pretty much gets rid of that, where a lot of that's in charge, of sound, and at the same time charging amp, whatever. It's all into this Mitsumi U3 chip. It's an IC chip, and that's pretty much it, where all that is controlled by this chip right here. But there is another AGS-001 motherboard where it's very similar to the front of the AGS-101. Pretty much the same, except a few things that, are swapped around. This coil part component right here is on the bottom instead of the top, like an AGS-101. But it still has that Mitsumi U3 IC chip on the front, just like the 101. But as you can see, if we turn all these over, it still has that T1 transformer part on the back. Because I see on eBay all the time where, you know, they're selling them and it's like the front pick, and they say, okay, it's one AGS001 and two 101 motherboards, but that's not always the case, because if you look at the back, that's a dead giveaway. It's an AGS001 and not an AGS101. So as far as I can tell, those are the differences I found. And the way I always tell if it's an AGS001 or an AGS101 motherboard on the Gameboy themselves with the screens. And that pretty much does it with this video. So I hope y'all found this helpful. If you are trying to either buy a Gameboy itself, like fully functioning and not put all together, or just the screen or motherboard itself. If y'all like to continue seeing this content, make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell button. See y'all next time.